Hello, hello, hello everyone. Right, let's get the chat enabled. Let's see what we're doing today. Our glorious leader, Julius Caesar, minus head. That's the reason why I am airbrushing the cloak on this today. So I wanted to ensure that the head that we painted last week didn't get in the way. So that's the reason why we've taken this head off, and we can use. So we'll have an uninterrupted version. Just getting there. So wait a few moments for people to join in. If you are watching this, please feel free to join in. Please feel free to leave a message on the messages, just to leave me know that you're out there and I feel less like a serial killer. So let's post this up on Facebook. How is everyone today? How have your holiday weeks been? How have your hobby weeks been? Blah. It would help if I could speak on these kind of things. Right. So chat. Let's get this out. Got 3 people watching already. Nice. Hello. Welcome, you guys. Hi, how you doing, Frank? Oh, chat is up and working. Brilliant stuff. Okay, that's working. Link to this should be working in... who knows when. Okay, so, to begin with, we are going to do the cloak in this episode. And for this, I've got a new airbrush. So I've got this new, old. So this is actually my first airbrush that I bought about 6 years ago. And I haven't really used it since I upgraded to the Iwata. But a bit of nostalgia overtaken me. I decided, you know what, let's give it a whirl. Let's give it a try. Let's see. Well, I have to actually see if it's working. You think? Because I don't even know if it even works. So this is going to be interesting to see if it even operates anymore. Okay, right, we got that out of the way. Right, let's see if this thing actually works. So, Caesar red, but before we start that, we need to mask off this miniature. So, how do you go about quick masking a miniature? Well, so we have this section done. We can be very careful in the airbrush application. I doubt we're going to clip this. Alternatively, if you do have any saran wrap in your house, or cling film for British viewers. Very easy, very quick. Just to add this over the skin that we did last week. Cover it up. Now, by no means is this an original idea. I picked this up off Angel Giraldez. Very talented man he is as well. That's just a super quick way to make sure everything's bound up and I'm not going to spoil the work that we did last time. Okay, so I just have some Tamiya tape to tape this up. Okay, and that's good to go. So that arm will not be touched. Now I know that arm will be, but I'll do it in my own spare time rather than spend the entire episode just watching me tape stuff up. Okay, I'm very well, Frank. Thank you very much for asking. Okay, let's see if this airbrush is working. So, if you're new to airbrushing, or if you want to know if an airbrush is working, or if you have a new setup, and you want to find a way to make sure it's working correctly, well, very quick, very simple thing you can do. Let's take paint. So I think to start with, let's grab up a whole bunch of reds. Okay, red. I need a brush. Okay. Yeah, apologies again, guys, for the delay. It's completely my fault. Schedule issue. Scheduling problem. Okay. Blood red by scale 75. Let's pop a little bit of this into the cap. Of course, it's stuck. So I know people really do like dropper bottles, but they do clog up so frequently. It makes you wonder whether it's even worth having them to save any time. Okay, so I'm just going to pop this into the cap. I'm using Forge World thinner. Lord knows how long this is going to last for. So I'm down to my last one. Just mixing it up in the airbrush. How can you tell if your airbrush is working well? Well, take a piece of paper and write your name 10 times. If you can write it legibly, you know that the airbrush is good. You know you can use it. Okay, so this is kind of slightly purple for whatever reason, so let's see if this transfers over onto the miniature itself. I want to give his cloak a nice once-over of the red. So as you can see, it's a very, very soft, light transition. I don't want anything too focused. I don't want anything that will interrupt. Now, the problem with doing things this thin is that you keep your airbrush down and it spiders like so. So you need to be very, very careful that no spidering does occur. Just take your time, building up layer upon layer. And this is where the undercoat really comes into action. This is where our pre-shade really comes into its own, because we can see the underlying tone, we can see the underlying structure that we've established. So while I do this, what are you guys up to this weekend? Anything hobby related? Anything good? Frank, what have you been working on recently? Okay, that's the first coat. I'm going to hit it with a hairdryer. And if you are watching live, guys, please feel free to leave a message. Please put something in the description. See, we have quite a few people watching, so pop something in the comment section. If you have any questions about your own work, now is the time to ask it. Because I should have something here that I'm able to demonstrate on, so I may be able to do a little impromptu tutorial on your question. So I'm just adding a bit more paint to the airbrush. Touch thinner. So because this is a historical piece, I want very soft shadows and highlights. I don't want anything too bizarre, I don't want anything too stylized. I want this to be as close to a photographic representation of Caesar as I could possibly get it. Now this is a stylistic choice on my part. If I wanted something slightly more fantastical, I may bring in elements of OSL. But for this, I want to try and recreate as photorealistic an image as possible. So lots of desaturated colours, zenithal highlighting from above, nothing too crazy. So blood red is perfect for a Legionnaire's cloak. It's a really nice, dark, nuanced red. It'll just give us lots of joy. So if you're a Blood Angel player, or if you're a Word Bearer player, this is the lesson for you to join in. Because the red recipe I will be using is very similar to how I paint my Blood Angels. It's the same theory, at least. So already you can see the richness of that cloak. Oh, hello! Johan, how you doing? Cleaning more Kingdom Death stuff together? Yeah, Kingdom Death, dudes, is becoming ever more popular on this channel. We need to do a dedicated either PDF or video tutorial on that, I feel. Paint up some 80s GW models for Frostgrave this weekend. Nice. I'm so jealous of you guys. So Rob is a part of a group that lives very close to me. And I've been playing some games with them over the past year or so now. Very graciously putting up with me. But haven't had the time recently, unfortunately. But yeah, very, very guilty. So, actually, the Frostgrave stuff, yeah, you can use these techniques very easily on the Frostgrave stuff. Because you can make that as naturalistic as you want. That does... personally, I find Frostgrave very much in terms... it is linked very much in line with Mordheim, so naturalistic tones work best. Okay, let's change the colour. So I want to go slightly brighter with the highlight for the next one. So I'm not getting rid of every single speck of paint. You can see I still have some left over. And what I want to do is add some golden skin. Again, scale 75. Just as my first sketch highlight layer. What 80s models are you painting, Rob? Got a load of them in the attic. Got a load of Dark Elves. Been painting up a Mordheim gang as well, because when you guys did that Mordheim campaign last year, I started painting up a gang, but by the time I got halfway through my commander, the campaign had long since stopped. Okay, golden skin. Dab of that, dribble of that. So this is running out. Okay, so I want to take this in zenithal highlighting codes. So I want the light directly from above. Let's develop this. So now this arm in the way does make it a little bit difficult to get the highlight. We just need to be a bit more aware of how we manipulate the airbrush to make sure we pick up on everything. So personally, I've been working on a Valdor just for myself. I've kind of had a lazy week this week, a lazy personal week, just working through a back catalogue of stuff I'd built up during the lessons with people, trying to get them all finished. So I've got a Shield Captain finished for a Custodes, small Custodes force. What else have I done? Mechanicum Magos. That's a hell of a fun model to paint. Okay, so I want to increase the amount of golden skin. Again, just a dollop of it. I think at this point I want to include a very minute amount of orange as well. Oh wow, we've got some, yep, got comments rolling now. Hey Keith, how you doing? Philip, how you doing, man? Rob, let's see what you're up to. Okay, so the bag, I think that, yeah, the bag, 1981. How are the scale colour paints, how are they to work with? Excellent. I find that the best paint range out there. I don't know whether it's because like they're the new thing on the block. I'm not sure, but I really cannot speak highly enough of them. So I'm going to mix a touch of hot orange. The Scale 75 stuff, they work well through an airbrush. They work great with a brush. They do some colours, especially the lighter pigmented ones like yellow, they do struggle a little bit. You need to mix them up very thoroughly. But excellent, excellent paint range. Well worth investing in. If you're unsure, just pick up, just try Adriatic Blue. That's an excellent one to get you started with, because it is a very, very nice colour. Here, so Philip has just finished exams, so you can finally start painting. Emperor's Children will. Oh, nice. Hey, do you have any ideas for what colour schemes you have in mind for the Emperor's Children? Are you going for any like themed forces with them? Because I know the Emperor's Children paint schemes I've done in the past, I've included quite a lot of armor plating on them. The kind of like silvered armor plating, platinum armor plating. That looks fantastic with the silver. Okay, let's run this out. Okay, begin our highlights. Oh, just before I go into that, so Rob, couple of Marauder, Reichsguard. Oh, very nice. Then moving on to some historical Viking stuff. Oh, perfect. Then this tutorial is for you. Keith's not bad messing around with some Sons of Horus while watching the F1. I did see the picture you sent me, Keith. I'll get back to you after this. So I'm trying to highlight the top of his cloak here. So again, spraying directly from above. Okay, and that's not bad for the first coat. So let's leave it here like this so you guys can see it. Or rather, I should turn it around like this so you can see the cloak. And we have how we have that gradual blend down from the light down to the shadow. Okay. So it's very nice, but it's quite soft at the moment. All these shadows and highlights. I want to give it a bit more strength, a bit more character to this. So I'm going to swap out the red completely and move over to blue. So I'm going to be using Huldra Blue again by Scale 75. Oh, that's my pleasure, Philip. Okay, so quick clean out of the airbrush, and let's go into Huldra Blue. So this is from, I bought the set Elven Colors, Scale 75. Really like this set, really. This and the wood set I highly advise buying. So Huldra Blue. Let's have a look how thin this is. So I'm very worried of putting a bit too much pressure on here and splatting all over my nice Julius Caesar that we've built up so far. So Cauldron Blue. A couple of drops of thinner. So it's this consistency. Okay, and I want to airbrush this into all the shadows. Now this may look a bit unusual right now, but we will be blending this back further. So don't be afraid to go slightly stronger with the shadow right at this particular moment. I forgot how much I like using this airbrush. Very nice. Hadron Steenbeck. I think they're owned by Iwata now, so I guess they're all just buying from the same company. Okay. So I'm slightly more blue towards the bottom of the cloak. So even though this portion should pick up more light, you have to think this guy's been traipsing around Gaul, the north, maybe if he's in Britain if he's unlucky. So the bottom of his cloak will be well worn and well weathered, so it'll be slightly darker than the rest of his cloak, and I want the lights to be building all up towards his face. See how I've overlapped that? That's a mistake, but I could correct that later on. I'm just concerned about getting the shadows in at the moment. Okay, that's looking quite nice. Okay, yeah, quite pleased with that so far. Rightio. So we've got some nice soft lights going on there. What I'd like to do now is really focus our attention, really focus the transitional points. So while I change out the airbrush, now is the perfect time to ask any questions. If you're working on anything, post it up, let others know. If you're watching for the first time, let me know. It's always a pleasure to have you on board. Always a pleasure to get new viewers. And now is the time to ask questions of me. So it doesn't have to be related to this, but if I have something near me and I'm able to do an impromptu tutorial for you, or answer any questions, well, take advantage of it. Okay. So I just need to grab my not so wet palette. Rightio, hello everyone again. So the reason why I say not so wet palette is that I'm using a slightly older wet palette, well loved wet palette. Lots of different colours on there. Could almost be an artwork in and of itself. Now, the beautiful thing about using the Scale 75 colours is that we know exactly what we've placed on the surface of our cloak. We don't need to colour mix and match. We can just directly use the colours that we've used. In this case, we have a hot orange by Vallejo. So we'll just pop this up on the corner. We also have golden skin. Pop that there. I think that should do us. You know what? I'll pop some red on there just for the sake of completeness as well. So at this stage, I'm transferring over to my brush, and I want to make very big transitional changes. I want to make very big marks here. Now we can use a slightly larger brush for this stage. In this case, I'll be using Winsor & Newton number 3. And I might be using this brush, the Evergreen Angular. So very useful just to keep a variety of brushes on hand. So this Evergreen Angular is by Rosemary & Co. It's a 1/4. It's quite a bit tougher than the Winsor & Newton. Comes to a tapered edge. Hot orange. Some of the skin. Okay, what I want to do is add some highlights. So with this, the way I can use the brush, manipulate the brush, I can make it look almost like cloth. Okay, let's make sure that focuses in where we need it to. Because at the moment it's just focused in on my wet palette and not the miniature. Nope, it's determined to focus in on the miniature. Okay, let's pop that over to the corner. That's better. Okay, let me make sure that you can see this. I'm comfortable painting. Get a bit more sunny skin tone in the center. Sorry, golden skin. But you can use sunny skin tone for this process. Very similar in tone. So why the brush? Well, you can't get this kind of precision with an airbrush. I mean, I'm sure you could, but it'll just take so long. Why would you even make the attempt when we could just switch over to a brush, very easily highlight these aspects. And later on we can switch back to the airbrush just to smooth out these tones. That's the plan, at least. We do need to make these lights quite strong. So I'm just moving between. So I don't like how this has really turned out with the Eradicator. So I could just very carefully run hot orange over it, and then I can return back to my blood red. So that will take a bit of correcting just to make sure it blends into everything else, but I'm not too concerned at this point because we can very easily correct the hues after this. If you have any questions, please feel free to post it up in the comments section of the YouTube video. That way they come up on screen and they're there forever. Not actually sure if I can remove any of them. So if anybody says anything they're not supposed to, how I could go about removing it. So guys, please behave yourselves. Not that I really need to tell you. Okay, what have you guys been up to? So Keith heard me do an impression of him. It's accurate, Keith. And Philip recently converted a Sevatar. Oh, awesome. Post it up on the Facebook page. Or post it up somewhere and link me to it. I want to see it. Highlighting this section. Just finished off Wolfsbane. You guys read that? The latest Horus Heresy novel by Guy Haley? Don't worry, I'm not going to spoil anything. We were also going to have a lot of questions at the end of that book. I need answering. I don't know that many people who have finished it yet, so I'm all out of luck. Okay, let's increase the amount of... So you can see just how strong the contrast is. Starting to build up, and it doesn't look too natural. When we come later on to blend it further with the airbrush, that's when we're going to start to see a bit more of the neutral naturality start to come back. What a sentence. Jesus. Right now it's all about building up that contrast. Is anybody working on this sculpt at the moment? Anybody intend to? So I know a few students who have picked up are wondering whether they're painting alongside me live or they'll come back to it in their own leisure time. If you have any suggestions for what you'd like me to paint live next, feel free to post it up. Perhaps we could get something together. I don't know, like a Primaris Marine or a Primarch or something. We can all paint it together alongside one another. I can guide you through the process, offer a few tips. So if you do have suggestions, post them along. Post them up. So, do I ever use glaze medium? No, I do not. I'm fortunate to live in a country where it's wet constantly. But, I mean, this has come up twice today with students. Other areas, other conditions, other climates will differ from mine, obviously. So, if you find it works for you, use it. As a very rough stopgap measure, try and use some airbrush thinner as a glaze medium. It's not ideal for it, but I find between the wet palette and my environment I don't need anything. But in other countries I do appreciate different conditions. Certainly try it. Absolutely. Just unfortunately I can't offer much in the way of guidance in that area because I haven't really used much additives. It's just all water for me. Okay, so you can see now the specificity of the highlights we're starting to build up. We don't even have to be that concerned about the kind of like laxity of our brush strokes. See, that's very rough what I've just done there. See a few tide marks as well on top of the shoulder pad here, on top of the shoulder rather. Actually, let me try and make this a little bit more comfortable. Okay. good, good. Just examining the model, see if there's any other aspects I can hit before I use the airbrush again. One portion of his cloak. So what would you like to see next coming up on the on this series, on the seminars? Alfarius, okay, well there will be videos, 4K videos dedicated towards Alfarius. So there'll be multiple tutorials for that, covering different ways and how you go about painting. So true metallic, non-metallic, and different alternate colour schemes for the Alpha Legion. Just rather weirdly, I've had a few commissions come in for him, and each person wants something slightly different. So very, very in keeping with Alfarius. Down here. I think we're almost done with this stage. It's important to remember this isn't a refining stage, this is just an establishment layer. This is trying to get the tones in where they need to be so I can manipulate them later. Okay, I think that's good. Maybe a touch more here. Okay, I think that's good. Just pop my brush over here. Make sure it doesn't pick up on any airbrush and any airbrush layer. Okay. So Alfarius seems to be winning by a landslide so far. Okay, let's return to Blood Red, our base layer. Where is my thinner? Thinner has gone walkies. There you go. Okay, so let's unite these tones a little bit. So I just want one coverage, one coat coverage. over what we've just done. Don't really want to target the top layers with my base coat. Yep, that'll do for that. Okay, hot orange next. For my zenithal highlight. So you can see the vibrancy of the red coming through there, and just the specificity of the cloak now. It all looks so much more defined, so much more real. Okay, then some sunny skin tone. Okay, this is going into the highlight. Directly on top. Okay, now I just want to modulate this cloak slightly. I feel like it's slightly too orange up the top. Very easy to do. Now we can return back to our original colour of Antari's blood red, and I just want to add a very minute amount of ink into there. So why do we use ink? Well, it's there to up the saturation, it's to make paints more powerful. To make this red, is to supercharge this red, make it really pop. So guys, if you do have any suggestions for what you'd like to see on the seminar series, what you'd like to see next, post it up in the description. Well, something really exciting coming next month. Really looking forward to that. I want to know what you want to see, if you have any suggestions. And let me know if there's anything in your collection that you want a personal tutorial on. So if you have something you're just desperate to paint, like, oh, how do I go about painting this? Well, let me know, and perhaps the next tutorial could be on that. We can paint it alongside one another. And some ink. Three drops. Okay, let's up the saturation of this cloak. And there we go. We have Caesar's cloak done and dusted. Come on, you. It's very rich, very vibrant. We can even finish off with the... we've got time. Let's finish off with the brushwork as well. It's always important to clean your airbrush before you hang it up, because a clean airbrush is a happy airbrush. Very impressed that this is even still working after so long, let alone able to airbrush like that. Very, very happy with this. Harder and Steenbeck. Very cool airbrush. Okay. I can give it a bit more of a thorough clean after the lesson, because you don't want to see me clean this up live on screen. Okay, so let's get up our original brushes. So the Winsor & Newton. I'll just show you on a small portion. So exactly where we just highlighted previously, I want to highlight again in this case. On the top of his cloak, and we can increase the amount of sunny skin tone edging up. Yeah, be a bit more careful, a bit more considered in where I place the highlights for this. Got some Huldra blue again on the brush. Just popping that into the deepest recess, into the shadow. So Philip asked, any paints on painting Sevatar like the one you recently posted in Facebook? Yep. So have a look in the PDF section. We've gone, well, I've posted up a Curse tutorial. It's exactly the same techniques, exactly the same color scheme I used in that. Well, you can use mine as a guide. You can take in consideration the actual sculpt, where the lines are, how to highlight it, and in the next few months there will be a video covering how to paint Sevatar. So the video has been done, it's dusted, it just needs to be edited and find a slot for it. I'm not sure when in the next few months when it will be posted up. Another piece of advice I can give you with Sevatar, with skin tone, just take your preferred skin tone and add a very minute amount of either purple or green into it. So this will cool the flesh down and give you a much more threatening aspect to him. But use that Conrad Curse tutorial. That's exactly what's there for the Night Lords. So make sure that the shadows are picked out. In here a little more. touch more sunny skin tone up here. You know what? I think we'll call it a day there. So from here on out, I'll be doing exactly the same brush techniques. Give it 5 more minutes. If you do have any final questions, anything you want to know, anything you want to question, now is the time to ask. Otherwise, I'll be shooting off in 5 minutes. Try and keep this video nice, short, sharp, and sweet. So when you review it, you don't have to scroll through hours and hours. Of footage for your own work. If you're interested in brushwork, feel free to keep watching. So now brushwork isn't really something that's very sexy, but it does yield results like nothing else. If you get proficient at brushwork, well, you don't really even need the airbrush. Nope, okie dokie, no questions. I'll be shooting off. Thank you very much, guys, for joining me. I hope you have a good day, and I'll speak with you soon.